Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to the video. Before I get on to today's build, I want to show you this. This is the progress I've been making on putting together the four filters. The four filters that I'm going to be offering for sale. And the big bottleneck in this sort of build is always drilling all the holes. Each of the filters has 4 different levels that have to be drilled in a pattern. And that means there's 16 times I have to drill this. So to cut down on time and my tedious time on the mill, I put together a jig. Now the jig, if you're interested, is up on my other channel. You can have a look at the build for that. But what it does is it allows me to have 2 reference points. One is down in the ways that you can see there. So it means back to front, it's always going to be in the same position, and also parallel, so the holes will come out nice and even. And then that little piece of aluminum with a clamp on it to see to the left gives me the horizontal lock so that it won't move back and forth from that. So it allows me to drill all these 4 holes, and then importantly, I can take these 4 out and put in the next 4, and they'll be in the same position. So I don't have to set anything else up. I just have to put them in and tighten everything down, and then I can just go right ahead and start drilling the next set of holes, because the drill bit right now is over the last hole, and what I'll do is put the new 4 in, and then I will mill through those and then put in the next 4 and mill back again, so I don't have to reset anything. It's already all set up, and as you can see, it sets up a nice pattern. And that's, like I said, this is very, very straightforward this way. Most of the holes came up pretty good. I had a little bit of chipping because, again, I'm trying to make this as quick as possible, so there's not a whole lot of time involved. You'll notice now that it's set up for the original position again. That's because I forgot to turn on the camera for the second set. This is actually the 3rd one at this point. And as you can see here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it towards the front of the mill, and I'm going to set the clamps roughly in place. And then once they're there, I'm going to make sure that it is tight up against the piece of aluminum that's clamped into place on the lower part of the screen. And then once they're all set like that, just tighten it down and it's ready to go. It only takes like maybe a minute to switch them out, which is that's really good. Like I said, I'm very happy with this style, and I do need to make a few more for the shop as well. And having this jig is a huge time saver. I'm not sure I'm going to be making like 4 at a time every time, but it is something that I will definitely save time with. And if for some strange reason they become very popular and more people want them than the 4 I'm making now, I will again make some more, and again this will save me a lot of time. So there you go. I just wanted to show you that. There's all the holes drilled. Those are all the pieces cut. All I need to do now is weld all these together. That's the quick and easy part, and I should have that up on the... well, I told you I was going to put up a notice. It's not going to be like a poll like I do for all the other ones. There's the jig, and it's, like I said, all the holes are nice and even. It's going to be a short video. I'm going to put a short up and announce it, and that's going to have a premiere attached to it so that you guys all have plenty of time, because the first 4 people who respond and say they want it will be the 4 that I will get contact with. So there you go. All right, on to today's build. I am putting together a sponge filter. I'm putting it together in the style of my latest sponge filter build. I'm finding it's actually really quite good. It's very easy to pull out of the tank. It's very easy to clean, all that sort of stuff. The one downside of it is really light. There's no anything in it besides a sponge and some acrylic, so its buoyancy is just barely negative. And I thought, well, I'm going to make it a little more realistic for keeping it in an aquarium so that it doesn't move around too much. So I am going to cut a piece of slate, and that slate is going to be the bottom of this. Now, the other reason why I'm putting together this particular build is a good friend of mine needed a filter. She doesn't really need a filter, just wanted something that I built, so I am going to put together this. It's kind of a surprise. So I'm going to cut this out, put it together, and send it off to them. So hopefully they'll like it. And the other thing is, when I build filters, when I'm using it myself, I'm might be a little biased, I suppose, in how good a filter is, and it is great. Like those four that I'm going to be putting together, and this one here, to have other people look at them and use them, and then I get feedback as to whether or not they're actually any good, which is nice. I like that. It's important to have other eyes and people who are used to filters and all that sort of stuff try them out and see if they actually like them. So this is a very fine-tooth this is a jigsaw, and it's like a little hacksaw blade that goes into it. The best way to cut this, if I didn't care about my bandsaw, would be to put it on that. But I don't want all that grit into the wheels, and I don't want to dull the blade. These blades are very, very cheap for this thing and easily replaced, so I'd rather use this. And as you can see, it cuts through slate quite nicely, and then all I need to do after that is just sand it a little bit, and it's good to go. So this is going to be the bottom piece. It's going to fit right on the inside, and then the tray is going to sit on top of that, and the rest of it is identical to my last sponge filter. The only thing actually is different is I'm not going to bother putting a lid on it, because the sponge is going to come right to the very top of the container it's going to go in. So there really is no room for anything to get in there, so it doesn't really actually need a lid at all anyway. So it's just another piece of plastic that I didn't have to put together. And the nice thing about this style of build is, as you can see here, it's just a box, and it has one platform on the bottom. It is very quick, very easy, and like if you decide you want to get into making filters, this is a very easy one to do. You just have to simply cut a sponge and stick it inside with a hole in the center for the lift stack to go through, and that's it. It is, like I said, very straightforward and easy to put together. Now, the last box filter I put together had a slightly different method for deflecting the bubbles. If you look right at the top of the screen, you're going to see the lift stack has a bunch of holes in it, and there's a cap on the top. So I'm going to put that style together as well, because I would like to, again, to have another opinion on how well that works. And other than that, this is identical to my other build. So there you go. Very straightforward, and a simple matter of putting it together. I did one small problem, so it's actually not going to be completely done. That fits nicely. The lift stack and everything fits nicely, but for some reason, while I cut the sponge in half, as you saw at the beginning, and then I drilled a hole through the center of it, I managed to rotate it 90 degrees. So the hole is through the wrong side. So it actually doesn't fit snugly through this at all, which is really annoying, because now I have to go pick up another sponge. But that's fine. I mean, I will use that sponge in the fish room, so it's not a big deal. I'll just build a filter that actually fits the new configuration, and that'll be fine. So as you can see here, that's the problem. The sponge, I can't use this. There's just too much of a gap down there. Fish can wiggle in there, shrimp, snails, whatever. And yeah, it's just not what I want. So I will have to put a new sponge in it, but other than that, it looks good, and it is going to go off to somebody. They don't actually even know they're going to get it yet, as I haven't told them. They just made a request a little while ago, and now I'm going to send that off, and hopefully they'll like it. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.